Wow, it's now been over 3 months since I got the DJI Neo day of release. And since then, it's resulted in much of its use being used in cold Alaska. But despite that, the DJI Neo has surprised me, albeit with a couple kinks and little quirks. Stepping back to the first day, I knew the basic functionality of the Neo, but what I didn't know is that just by turning it on, it automatically starts recording, which led to these first little test clips where I was captivated by the tracking and just had to test taking a corner with it. Yeah, it doesn't handle corners really well. Ironically, when the team started seeing it, one had the same idea, only sprinted and caused the Neo to take its first crash, as it didn't slow or take the curve at all, leading to a bang. While it was kind of amusing and showed the durability, it led to some more indoor tracking tests where I discovered even going slower, it can't always make sharp corners or tight areas. Open it up though, and it's actually pretty impressive how well it tracks. At least it was going well until I went outside, and this happened. I thought it might just be because of lack of light, so I tried it again later and the same thing. This time I figured it must be because of the cold, because yeah, pretty much every one of the shots outside here in Alaska is below 0 Fahrenheit. Though when I went inside and updated the firmware and tried it again, it was surprisingly good, so apparently it was just a software glitch. But now it was time to try the Neo in some more realistic scenarios over in Billings for a cross-country meet I had. Here, I also played around with a couple other settings like droney, circle, rocket, and some custom ones like helix and boomerang, which I found to be really quite cool on some small hikes. Though before I knew it, I was back in Alaska testing with the cold. It seemed to do really well as long as the temperature was above -15 Fahrenheit, that is. Below that, and I would run into issues like this, where the camera just shakes back into place every once in a while, and the drone is a little more unstable. Oh, and I should mention that the drone won't even take off if it itself isn't somewhat warm to begin with.
Close. Follow. Unable to take off. Ambient temperature too low. Keep aircraft on and wait for it to warm up.
Which is pretty easy to get around with. You just put it close to your body for a little bit, and your body heat will warm it up. That said, while it works, I'm not entirely sure I would recommend it, as just look up what can happen to electronics in the cold. Either way, this $200 drone has really impressed me that it can actually handle the cold this well and still manages to track and everything. Like, what the heck? $200. For those who make videos, I would absolutely recommend it in a heartbeat, no question. Aside from just getting some cool shots, which is cool and all, one of my favorite things about it is that you could actually use it as a tripod, which is what I'm doing right now. Though I do recommend that you use direction track, as the other one that follows you when you move towards it doesn't work quite as well and has the most glitches. In fact, when I tried to use it this morning, it went straight up and I have no idea what it was. Software-wise, direction track's more locked in. While there are complaints with the camera quality, to me it's totally usable and excellent for the price. The main improvement I would like to see in future editions, or even done in software, is improving tracking, as it's still not perfect, specifically with direction track and follow for activities like running on trails where corners will block views. I feel a simple ring that sends its location could really help it find its way back if it does lose the subject, which I would be totally fine wearing if it was small and actually that useful. It would help prevent cases like this where, honestly, I'm lucky it wasn't taken or stepped on when the battery eventually did die. Specifically for direction track, now that I've tested it in more warmer areas, I think it definitely needs more improvements, as I can't blame it on the cold. Don't think that means follow is home free though. It definitely has issues. They're just not as bad.
Landing.
Well, there we go. That's been my experience with the DJI Neo. It's been a phenomenal drone and I would totally get it again. And that's let alone the fact that you can fly manual, which I am so tempted to get, and you might see a video about that. I just have to buck up and get the goggles and stuff. Anyways, I'll see you later, and bye. Wait. We can use this as a little tripod right here. You see this? This is tripod mode. Woo! I do not want to get my socks wet. Do 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 do. No, we're going back. Let's go. Come on, Neo. Me and you, buddy. Off on an adventure. Hopefully this works. Do 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 do. You just lose it? No, you didn't. Okay. Ah. DJI Neo,